Wednesday starts her day at Nancy Reagan High School, finding her brother Pugsley tied in her locker with an apple in his mouth. After freeing him, she envisions his bully's actions. To retaliate, she releases 2 bags of piranhas into the school pool, watching with fascination as they attack the boys. On the silent car ride to Nevermore, her parents insist she'll enjoy the new school, but Wednesday suspects they just want her to follow their path, as they both attended. Morticia reassures her that Nevermore offers a place where she can truly belong. At Nevermore, Principal Larissa warmly greets them, recalling her time as Morticia's roommate. Impressed by Wednesday's record, she approves her midterm enrollment. Morticia mentions court-mandated therapy, and Larissa confirms the availability of a campus therapist. Assigned to Ophelia Hall, her mother's old dorm, Wednesday meets her bubbly new roommate, Enid Sinclair. Enid offers a tour, but Wednesday, uninterested and plotting her escape, shows little enthusiasm. Enid mentions the rumors of Wednesday's trouble at her last school, which she confirms. Unfazed, Enid continues explaining the school's cliques: fangs, furs, stones, and scales. After the tour, her parents say goodbye. Morticia warns against escape attempts, but Wednesday is determined to break free. Morticia leaves her with an obsidian pendant and a crystal ball for communication, while Gomez assigns Thing, a severed hand, to secretly watch over her. In the woods near Nevermore, a sheriff and an officer discover human remains, marking the 3rd attack that week. While the sheriff blames bears to deter hikers, he privately suspects a link to Nevermore, but lacks proof. Back in her room, Wednesday argues with Enid about privacy. School life is challenging. She earns an enemy when a popular girl slashes her cheek during gym class. In the infirmary, she meets Rowan. Later, Xavier saves her from a falling gargoyle, explaining its repayment for a childhood rescue she gave him. Discovering Thing, her father's gift, Wednesday assigns it the task of helping her escape. Principal Larissa escorts Wednesday to therapy, keeping a close watch. Midway through, Wednesday slips out through the restroom window and heads to a cafe to find a way out of town. On the way, she bumps into a man and has a sudden vision of his death. His rude behavior convinces her not to intervene. At the cafe, she meets Tyler and strikes a deal. If she fixes his coffee machine, he'll get her a taxi. Tyler offers to drive her himself, but says it will take an hour. When she tries bribing him, he refuses, leaving her to wait. While waiting, 3 boys harass her, but Wednesday easily subdues them with her combat skills. The sheriff arrives, stunned, and questions Tyler, his son, who denies helping. The sheriff, upon learning Wednesday is Gomez Addams' daughter, coldly remarks that her father is a murderer. Principal Larissa arrives to retrieve Wednesday, advising her to avoid enemies and focus on making friends. That night, Wednesday plays a haunting melody on her cello, drawing Enid, who shares stories about her family. They begin to bond, and Wednesday borrows Enid's computer to send Tyler a message through Thing. Together, they plan her escape during the Harvest Festival, though evading Principal Larissa will be a challenge. At the festival, Tyler gives Wednesday a police report on her father. As they prepare to leave, the cafe boys spot them, seeking revenge. Tyler suggests blending into the crowd to escape. While weaving through the festival, Wednesday collides with Rowan and has a vision of him in grave danger. She tries to help him, but Rowan attacks, claiming a prophecy from his mother foretold this moment and that her presence is dangerous. Before he can harm her, a mysterious creature kills him and vanishes. Later, Wednesday's parents call to check in, and she reluctantly admits she's starting to like the school. The police search the woods, but find no sign of Rowan's body. The sheriff doubts Wednesday's monster story and suspects a student from Nevermore. Principal Larissa dismisses his theory, frustrated, and suggests Rowan simply ran away. After giving her statement, Wednesday asks for a private word with the sheriff, expressing her suspicion that someone is covering up Rowan's death. Before they can continue, an officer interrupts, and to her shock, Rowan walks in, alive. During her next therapy session, the therapist questions why she invented the murder story, but Wednesday insists she saw Rowan killed by a creature. The therapist tries to get her to open up, but Wednesday remains guarded. After her session, Wednesday meets Tyler, who is surprised to learn about her mandatory therapy. Tyler reassures her that he believes what she saw, but their conversation is cut short when he leaves after receiving a message. Back at school, Wednesday tells Enid she's staying to uncover the truth and expose Rowan's lies. When asked about Rowan, Enid admits she knows nothing and suggests Wednesday talk to his roommate Xavier. However, Enid is preoccupied with preparations for the Po Cup. Wednesday tries to confront Rowan, but learns from the principal that he has been expelled for undisclosed reasons. The principal hints at Wednesday's psychic abilities, referencing a vision her mother once had, and asks if she has ever shared her visions with her mother. Before ending the conversation, the principal reminds Wednesday to pick an extracurricular activity by the end of the day. Later, Wednesday sends Thing to monitor Rowan's departure. She approaches Bianca to ask what happened after she blacked out, but Bianca dismisses her questions. At Archery Club, Wednesday questions Xavier, who says Rowan had been acting strangely for weeks and warns her to stay away from Tyler, though he doesn't explain why. Determined to find answers, Wednesday catches Rowan before he leaves and confronts him about the drawing he had of her. Rowan claims not to remember. As a teacher drives him to the station, Thing secretly follows. At the station, Rowan enters the restroom and, to Thing's shock, transforms into an old man. Thing loses him, but later sees the old man turn into Principal Larissa. When Thing reports back, Wednesday is frustrated that Rowan escaped unnoticed. During a class on carnivorous plants, Wednesday and Bianca engage in a tense exchange, trading sharp remarks and personal jabs. Meanwhile, tension rises between Tyler and his father, who accuses him of bad-mouthing him in therapy. Tyler coldly responds that they discuss his mother and says he won't be home for dinner before walking out. Wednesday asks Enid to cover for her while she sneaks into the woods. Enid agrees, but only if Wednesday apologizes to Thing. Reluctantly, Wednesday apologizes and admits her fear of causing a catastrophic event in the future. Satisfied, Enid helps by pretending to be Wednesday during beekeeping club. In the woods, Wednesday meets Tyler, who says he's keeping an eye on his father. She explains she needs proof that Rowan is truly dead and wants to understand why the creature saved her. While searching, she finds Rowan's glasses, and touching them triggers a vision. Rowan was behind the gargoyle attack, and she glimpses the book where he found the drawing of her. Miss Thornhill later explains that the book belonged to the Nightshades, a secret society that disbanded years ago. After class, she praises Wednesday's performance and confides that she also struggles to fit in at Nevermore. Wednesday admits she enjoys being disliked, and Miss Thornhill encourages her to embrace that strength and offers support whenever she needs it. Determined to learn more, Wednesday sneaks into Xavier and Rowan's room to search for the book. She finds a mask but is forced to hide under the bed when Xavier returns, soon followed by Bianca. From her hiding spot, Wednesday overhears Xavier express concern that Rowan may have tried to harm her. Their conversation shifts to the upcoming Po Cup, where Bianca reveals her plan to sabotage Enid by leaving her without a co-pilot to guarantee a win. Determined to outplay Bianca and help Enid, Wednesday offers to team up with her. The next day, they compete together. With no rules in place, Bianca plays dirty, but Wednesday has a version of herself revealing she is the key. Undeterred, she and Enid use Bianca's tactics against her and win the competition. After the race, Wednesday finds a clue leading her to a hidden library at school, where she discovers the book Rowan used to identify her. Just as she tries to leave with it, she is captured. In the secret Nightshade room, Wednesday, tied up, identifies Bianca among the cloaked figures. Xavier asks how she found the room, and Wednesday calmly replies that Rowan led her there. The Nightshades, operating with the principal's knowledge, debate her fate. Xavier suggests she join them, but Bianca disagrees. Uninterested, Wednesday frees herself and leaves, calling them amateurs. The next morning, the principal announces a volunteer day, community lunch, and a memorial statue dedication, reminding students to behave. Wednesday is assigned to work at Uriah's Heap, an antique store, and play her cello at the ceremony. While volunteering, Wednesday confronts Xavier about Rowan. Xavier doubts her story, but reveals that the man in the book is Jericho Crackstone, the town's founder. Meanwhile, the sheriff suspects the recent attacks are linked to Nevermore, but the mayor dismisses his concerns, insisting on blaming bears to protect the town's economy. Determined to investigate, Wednesday persuades Enid to swap jobs, giving her access to Pilgrim World to uncover more about Crackstone. At Uriah's Heap, Enid has a flirty encounter with Ajax, despite an awkward moment. Elsewhere, Eugene faces harassment from bullies, but Wednesday intervenes, and Eugene agrees to act as her lookout. Together, they sneak into Crackstone's old meeting house, where Wednesday finds a portrait of a girl from her vision and notices a missing book identical to Rowan's. Later, Wednesday runs into Xavier at the cafe, who warns her to stay away from Tyler. Wednesday insists she'll decide who to associate with and asks Tyler about the real meeting house. Tyler offers to take her, but she declines and heads there with Thing. In the old house, Wednesday touches objects, triggering a vision of Goody Adams. She witnesses Crackstone and a mob of pilgrims, accusing Goody's community of witchcraft and burning them alive. Urged by her mother, Goody escapes, pursued by Crackstone. Snapping out of the vision, Wednesday spots the monster nearby and follows it, shocked to realize it can shift into human form. Just then, Xavier appears. When Wednesday tries to show him the monster's tracks, the rain has washed them away. Suspicious of his arrival, she demands an explanation. Xavier says he overheard her conversation with Tyler and came to ensure her safety. On their way back, Xavier warns her that visions can be unreliable, citing his father's research. He also mentions Rowan's strange behavior, but dismisses her vision of Crackstone as irrelevant. Undeterred, Wednesday vows to uncover the truth and prevent history from being rewritten. At the statue unveiling, Wednesday sets the statue on fire with Thing's help, continuing to play her haunting cello as the crowd scatters in panic. After the ceremony, the principal confronts Wednesday, suspecting her involvement in the fire but lacking proof. Wednesday denies it and challenges the principal for hiding the truth. The principal insists she's trying to rebuild trust with the town, but Wednesday bluntly tells her it's futile. The townspeople still harbor resentment. That night, the monster kills another victim, captured on the victim's camera. Meanwhile, Enid eagerly prepares for her first date with Ajax. However, Ajax accidentally petrifies himself by looking into a mirror, leaving Enid to believe she's been stood up. Feeling hurt, she destroys a car in frustration. Elsewhere, the principal burns papers, Xavier hides scratches on his neck, and the sheriff develops film from the latest crime scene. With Thing's help, Wednesday sneaks into the county coroner's office to investigate the monster's latest victim. When the sheriff and coroner return unexpectedly, she hides in a mortuary cabinet and overhears them discussing how the killer collects trophies from victims. The sheriff urges the coroner to keep it a secret. Eager to finish his last case before retirement, the coroner agrees. The next morning, Wednesday shares her findings with Enid, but the gruesome photos make her faint. Later in class, Wednesday notices suspicious scratches on Xavier's neck. When she confronts him, he claims they're from fencing practice, but Wednesday remains skeptical and decides to follow him. Wednesday tracks Xavier to a hidden art studio on school grounds, where she discovers detailed sketches of the monster. As she tries to leave with one, Xavier catches her. When he questions her, she deflects by asking why he's there. Xavier explains it's his private studio, but offers no tour. With no good excuse for her intrusion, Wednesday changes tactics and invites Xavier to the Rave'n dance. Mistaking her intentions, Xavier happily accepts. Enid is thrilled by Wednesday's change of heart and suggests dress shopping to bond, but Wednesday dismisses the idea, saying it's not their style. Instead, Wednesday visits the sheriff and urges him to join her investigation. He agrees, but only if she provides solid evidence. Meanwhile, still upset with Ajax, Enid runs into Lucas Walker, the mayor's son and a former bully. Hoping to make Ajax jealous, she agrees to take Lucas to the dance after he says it will make his ex jealous. Outside the sheriff's station, Tyler tries to convince Wednesday to invite him to the dance. Annoyed that she's going with Xavier, Tyler assumes they're involved. Wednesday bluntly tells him she has more pressing concerns. Later, Wednesday asks Eugene to store her crime scene photos in the B house, since Enid won't keep them in their room. Eugene agrees on the condition that Wednesday puts in a good word for him with Enid. While reviewing the evidence, Eugene identifies the monster's lair from a sketch. They investigate the lair and find a broken claw, which Wednesday takes as evidence. Back at school, Wednesday sneaks into Xavier's studio again to collect a DNA sample, but is caught. Xavier admits he draws the monster because he sees it in his dreams, and the scratches on his neck are from sleepwalking episodes. Realizing Wednesday only invited him to the dance for her investigation, Xavier feels betrayed. Undeterred, Wednesday takes the claw and Xavier's DNA sample to the sheriff, requesting a test to confirm her suspicions. With her original plan disrupted, she asks Eugene to join her for a stakeout at the monster's lair. However, Tyler unexpectedly shows up at her door, dressed sharply and holding the exact dress she had liked. Thing, meddling behind her back, had sent Tyler a heartfelt letter pretending to be Wednesday, inviting him to the dance. Annoyed but cornered, Wednesday postpones the stakeout until the next night. Unaware of the danger, Eugene decides to go alone. At the dance, Xavier is irritated to see Wednesday with Tyler. While tension simmers, Wednesday learns that Tyler once bullied Xavier, though she shrugs it off. Meanwhile, Lucas realizes he has more in common with Enid than he expected. As Wednesday and Tyler dance, Xavier's jealousy grows. Frustrated, he asks Bianca to use her siren powers to help him move on from Wednesday. Annoyed, Bianca refuses and leaves. Chaos erupts when Lucas's friends spray red paint on the students. Although Lucas regrets it, he follows through under peer pressure. Amid the commotion, Wednesday has a vision of Eugene being attacked by the monster. Feeling hurt by Lucas's actions, Enid finds closure when she reconciles with Ajax. They clear up their misunderstanding and share a kiss, mending their relationship. Desperate to save Eugene, Wednesday races into the woods, but the monster vanishes, leaving Eugene barely clinging to life. Determined to uncover the truth about her father's murder accusation at Nevermore, Wednesday recalls a flashback of young Larissa giving a police statement blaming Morticia, as Gomez is taken away in handcuffs. In the present, it's Parents' Weekend, and the Addams family attends. Morticia worries that Wednesday isn't excited about their visit. At the assembly, the principal announces Eugene's recovery. When Enid asks if Wednesday has visited him, Wednesday admits he's in a coma and feels guilty. Meanwhile, Xavier resents his father's absence, and Bianca struggles with her controlling mother, who pressures her to use her powers for cons. The principal meets with Wednesday's parents to discuss her challenges and suggests family therapy with Dr. Kinbot. Morticia objects, but Gomez agrees. During a trip to town, the sheriff accuses Gomez of escaping justice. Tyler defends Gomez, sparking an argument with the sheriff. As the sheriff leaves, he learns the coroner has died by suicide. In therapy, Dr. Kinbot asks how the family has coped since Wednesday's departure. Her parents admit it's been difficult, but Wednesday demands answers about Garrett Gates. Morticia abruptly ends the session, refusing to discuss the past. Unfazed, Wednesday vows to uncover the truth on her own. Meanwhile, officers find a note from the coroner confessing to falsifying the Garrett Gates report. With this evidence, the sheriff arrests Gomez. In the holding cell, Wednesday confronts Gomez, who admits Garrett was obsessed with Morticia and attacked him after catching them kissing. Gomez claims self-defense, but Wednesday suspects he's lying. Wednesday confronts the sheriff, accusing him of using the arrest to distract from the monster investigation. The sheriff insists it's justice and reveals Garrett's family's tragic fates. His mother took her life, his father drank himself to death, and his sister drowned overseas. Frustrated, Wednesday accuses her mother of sending her to Nevermore to live in her shadow. Morticia admits she stabbed Garrett to protect Gomez, but suggests his erratic behavior was caused by poison. Determined to confirm her theory, Wednesday and Morticia exhume Garrett's body and discover traces of poison. Before they can report it, they are arrested. While in the holding cell, Wednesday has a vision. Garrett's father gave him nightshade poison to kill Nevermore's students. During the fight with Gomez, the vial broke and Garrett absorbed the poison, causing his death. Armed with this revelation, Wednesday and Morticia confront the mayor, threatening to expose the cover-up. The mayor drops the charges, and the sheriff reluctantly releases Gomez, offering a hesitant apology. With the matter resolved, Morticia reassures Wednesday about her visions and promises to always support her. When Wednesday asks how to control her abilities, Morticia explains that only the dead from their bloodline can guide her. Surprised, Wednesday shares that she's seen Goody Adams in her visions. Morticia warns her to be careful. Goody was a powerful witch consumed by vengeance. As family weekend ends, Enid firmly rejects her mother's push for conversion camps, declaring she'll embrace her transformation on her own terms. Though disappointed, her father supports her choice. Before leaving, Morticia urges Wednesday to confide in her more and gives her an old yearbook. Flipping through it, Wednesday discovers the principal is a shapeshifter. Confronting Principal Larissa, Wednesday confirms that Rowan is dead and that Larissa impersonated him to cover it up. When Wednesday threatens to go to the sheriff, Larissa warns that Rowan's father will back her story, and exposing the truth could endanger Nevermore. Their tense conversation is interrupted by a commotion outside, a burning message on the school lawn, with flames spelling out, "Fire will rain." Later, Wednesday begins a ritual to summon Goody Adams for guidance, but Enid interrupts, along with an anonymous letter inviting her to Crackstone's crypt at midnight. Despite Wednesday's protests, Enid insists on going with her. At the crypt, Wednesday realizes the letter was a ruse for a surprise birthday party. As her friends sing, she notices symbols on the crypt's fireplace matching those burned on the lawn. Suddenly, a vision grips her. Goody appears, warning of Crackstone's return and revealing a location Wednesday must find. She cautions that, as a Rave'n psychic, Wednesday must walk a lonely path. Time is running out. The next day, Wednesday remains cold toward Thing, still upset about the party. Enid admits the party was her idea and gives Wednesday 2 gifts, one from her and one from her parents. Meanwhile, Principal Larissa asks the mayor for help identifying who burned the lawn message. The mayor agrees but suggests someone from Nevermore may be behind the attacks, which Larissa dismisses. At school, Xavier asks what Wednesday saw in her vision, but she refuses, suspecting him of being the monster. Frustrated, Xavier tells her she knows where to find him if she needs help. Bianca warns Lucas about the bracelet from her mother's scam self-help company. Intrigued, Lucas asks Bianca out, and they surprisingly enjoy their cafe date. Wednesday visits Eugene at the hospital and runs into Dr. Kinbot, who checks on him at his mom's request. Dr. Kinbot tries to engage Wednesday, but she dismisses her. Elsewhere, the mayor receives Garrett Gates' sister's death certificate, which claims she drowned overseas. Suspicious, he orders further investigation. At the cafe, Tyler invites Wednesday on a birthday date, but she declines, showing him a painting from her vision, which he doesn't recognize. She tells the sheriff about the symbols on Crackstone's fireplace, hoping for a lead. Wednesday asks Xavier to help identify the location, and he reveals it's the old Gates mansion. The next morning, Wednesday sees the mayor leaving the mansion and overhears his voicemail to the sheriff, hinting he knows who is behind the attacks. Wednesday and Thing sneak into the trunk of his car. At the cafe, a blue Cadillac speeds toward the mayor, hitting him before fleeing. He is rushed to the hospital in critical condition but is expected to survive. At the hospital, Wednesday insists the attack and the monster's killings are linked to the Gates family. The sheriff dismisses her theory, certain the Gates family is dead. Back at school, Principal Larissa places Nevermore on lockdown and revokes off-campus privileges, furious at Wednesday for breaking the rules. Miss Thornhill later tries to cheer her up with a copy of Frankenstein *, but warns that further defiance could lead to expulsion. The next morning, Wednesday calls Tyler, saying she's changed her mind about the date. Tyler is excited, but his father overhears and warns him to stay away from her. Wednesday tricks Enid into sneaking out to make up for the birthday party. Tension rises when Tyler expects a private date, and Enid assumes it's a girls' night. Frustrated, Enid tells Tyler to take them to the Gates mansion instead. Meanwhile, Xavier asks Thing to find out where Wednesday went. At the eerie Gates mansion, the trio discovers Laurel Gates' room, strangely clean, as if someone has been living there. Suddenly, Tyler screams for help, warning that the monster is nearby. The monster chases Wednesday and Enid through the mansion. They stumble into the basement, finding the trophies the monster collected. With little time, Wednesday takes in as much as she can before they escape. After regrouping, they find Tyler alive but injured, with a gash on his shoulder. Xavier arrives to help, and they rush Tyler home. The sheriff blames Wednesday for endangering his son. Determined to prove what she found, Wednesday returns to the mansion with Tyler, only to find everything cleared out. The sheriff accuses her of lying and forbids her from seeing Tyler again. Back at Nevermore, Principal Larissa gives Wednesday a final warning. Desperate, Wednesday tells her about Rowan's mother's prophecy and pleads for one last chance to save the school. The principal reluctantly agrees. When Wednesday returns to her room, she finds Enid packing. Hurt and angry, Enid moves out, saying, "Enjoy being alone." Alone, Wednesday realizes solitude isn't as fulfilling as she thought. She opens the music box from Laurel Gates' room and finds chilling photographs of herself, taken by someone stalking her. Later that night, someone sneaks into the mayor's hospital room and kills him. Undeterred, Wednesday leaves a message for her stalker, ready to confront whoever has been following her. At the mayor's funeral, Wednesday spots a figure watching from afar and follows them into the woods, discovering it's Uncle Fester, hiding after a run-in with the law. She hides him in the bee house until things settle. Fester offers to help, revealing the monster is a Hyde. He explains that a diary by Faulkner, documenting outcasts, is hidden in the Nightshade's secret room and may hold crucial clues. After the funeral, Enid returns to collect her belongings, but an argument ensues, and she leaves again, still angry. That night, Wednesday sneaks into the Nightshade's secret room and runs into Xavier. They argue. Xavier reminds her he's always been on her side and saved her life, but Wednesday still distrusts him. When she questions how he draws the monster so well without seeing it, Xavier asks why. If he were the monster, he hasn't killed her. Wednesday suggests it's because he likes her. Hurt, Xavier storms out. With Xavier gone, Fester shows her the diary, revealing that hides are natural-born artists, triggered by trauma, chemicals, or hypnosis, and fall under the control of whoever awakens them. The next morning, convinced Xavier is the Hyde, Wednesday, and Fester secretly follow him, spotting him meeting Dr. Kinbot in the woods. Concluding that Kinbot is the Hyde's master, Wednesday rushes to tell the principal. At the principal's office, she's stunned to find Dr. Kinbot already there and, doubting herself, says nothing. The next day, following Bianca's tip, Wednesday learns Lucas found evidence on his father's laptop, showing the mayor had discovered Laurel Gates was alive and planned to expose her. Bianca believes Laurel killed the mayor to protect her secret. Determined to find the truth, Wednesday confronts Dr. Kinbot, accusing her of controlling the Hyde. Kinbot, shocked, insists Wednesday is mistaken. Frustrated, Wednesday leaves. Mid-call with Principal Larissa to report Wednesday's behavior, Dr. Kinbot is attacked by the monster and killed before she can finish her complaint. Wednesday grows more convinced that Xavier is the Hyde. Believing his transformation was triggered by the monster's master, she sneaks into his art studio and plants the evidence, including the stolen diary. The police arrest Xavier despite his protests that he's being framed. No one, including the sheriff, believes him, and the case is considered closed. That night, Wednesday and Enid reconcile, with Enid moving back into their shared room. They gossip about Wednesday's budding romance with Tyler, and Enid encourages her to visit him at the cafe. Later, Wednesday visits Tyler, surprising him. She confides that Xavier's arrest has made her rethink who she can trust, and says she feels more comfortable around him. Drawn in by Tyler's charm, Wednesday shares her first kiss with him. In that moment, a powerful vision hits her. She sees Tyler transforming into the monster and killing Dr. Kinbot. Horrified, Wednesday pulls away, realizing Tyler is the Hyde. Overwhelmed with fear and betrayal, she rushes out of the cafe, leaving Tyler confused and calling after her, unaware of the vision she just experienced. In the woods, Wednesday confronts Tyler as the Hyde. He denies it, calmly questioning why she came alone. Unfazed, Wednesday reveals Bianca and the Sirens, who sedate Tyler with their powers. They drag Tyler to Xavier's studio, chain him to a chair, and Wednesday begins her interrogation, convinced he inherited the Hyde gene from his mother. Tyler insists that being an outcast doesn't make him a monster, but Wednesday remains unmoved, escalating to light torture for a confession. Disturbed by her tactics, the Sirens leave and report Wednesday to Principal Larissa. Meanwhile, the sheriff reviews Dr. Kinbot's assessment, suggesting Tyler's trauma runs dangerously deep. Larissa's urgent call interrupts him, and he rushes to Xavier's studio, stopping Wednesday just in time. Furious, he decides not to press charges. As Wednesday leaves, Tyler pulls her aside and chillingly confesses he is the Hyde. He describes the thrill of killing and warns her worse is coming. At Nevermore, Principal Larissa expels Wednesday, giving her until the next afternoon to leave. Desperate, Wednesday begs for more time to expose Tyler, but Larissa refuses. With no other choice, she visits Xavier in jail. Furious and betrayed, Xavier refuses to help, telling her to face the darkness alone. The next morning, Wednesday packs her things and shares a bittersweet hug with Enid. She bids farewell to Bianca and the Nightshades, warning them to stay vigilant. Before leaving town, Wednesday visits Eugene, now awake. Eugene reveals he saw red boots on the person who set the monster's lair on fire. Realizing Miss Thornhill is the only one she's seen with red boots, Wednesday rushes to confront her. Wednesday reveals Tyler's confession and brings in Principal Larissa disguised as Tyler. Caught off guard, Miss Thornhill, revealed as Laurel Gates, confesses and commands Tyler to kill Wednesday. Larissa shifts back to herself, urging Laurel to cooperate, but Laurel injects her with nightshade poison and knocks Wednesday unconscious with a spade. Wednesday awakens chained inside Crackstone's crypt. Thing frantically alerts Enid via video call, with Eugene listening in, worried for her safety. In the crypt, Laurel reveals her plan to resurrect Crackstone using body parts Tyler collected. She explains Goody cursed Crackstone's soul, locking it in a blood-sealed sarcophagus. Only Wednesday, as Goody's descendant, can unlock it, and the ritual must be completed under tonight's blood moon. The sheriff receives a report from his officers that Eugene's parents suspect something is wrong at Nevermore, but the squad car's tires have been slashed, delaying their response. Rethinking his priorities, the sheriff abandons Xavier's transport and heads to the school. In the crypt, Laurel completes the ritual, awakening Crackstone, who vows revenge. When Wednesday tries to stop him, he stabs her and leaves her for dead. As she lies on the cold stone, Goody's spirit appears, offering to heal her with the talisman her mother gave her. Goody warns this will be their final encounter, and Goody's spirit heals her. Meanwhile, Enid rallies the Nightshades to evacuate the students. In the chaos, she fully embraces her transformation. Wolfing out, healed and determined, Wednesday rushes to confront Crackstone, but is intercepted by Tyler, who transforms into his Hyde form. Just as Tyler attacks, Enid arrives to battle him. In the woods, the sheriff, torn between duty and love for his son, tracks Tyler's location. Leaving Xavier locked in the police car, the sheriff races to the fight. Thing sneaks in and frees Xavier. The sheriff shoots Tyler, forcing him back into human form. At the school, Wednesday engages Crackstone in a brutal battle. Though Bianca and Xavier try to help, Crackstone proves too powerful. Remembering Goody's advice, Wednesday finds an opening and plunges her sword into his heart. With a final cry, Crackstone disintegrates into dust, vanquished at last. But the fight isn't over. Laurel storms in with a gun, determined to complete her plan. Eugene arrives just in time, unleashing his swarm of bees to subdue her and save Wednesday. In the aftermath, Wednesday completes her novel, chronicling the harrowing events. She and Enid visit the principal's office to pay respects to Larissa for her sacrifice in protecting Nevermore. With the semester cancelled, Enid invites Wednesday to visit her in San Francisco. Later, she meets Xavier and they patch things up. Before parting, Xavier gives her a phone, asking her to text him sometime. When he asks if she'll return next semester, Wednesday leaves the question unanswered. On her way home, Wednesday receives a text from an unknown stalker. "I'm watching you." As she rides past the transport van carrying Tyler, her voiceover reflects that not all loose ends are tied. In the final scene, Tyler convulses, grinning wickedly as he transforms into his Hyde form. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.